Hello everyone and welcome to December's forecast. I apologize for getting this one up to you guys a little late. Last week was crazy hectic for me. I was, as I'm sure a lot of you saw, launching a trip on top of, there's a dog hair here. Um, on top of, I was asked to be interviewed for a magazine, and so I had to really quick update my headshots and basically do that interview. And so it kind of took up a lot of my week last week. And normally I like to get these up a lot sooner. So, but yeah, really quick, I want to speak to some updates. First off, I'm taking everybody to Ireland. I'm inviting you. I'm personally inviting you to go to Ireland with me. I did a whole video about it. I will put it up in a card up above with all the information, itinerary, what we're doing. Essentially, I want to take a group. I want to travel a lot more in the future with you guys. I've always wanted to do retreats, but I want to go to Ireland, experience like the history behind it, but also like bring in an intuitive spiritual flair to the trip. And I'm doing this through a company called Trip. They handle everything for us. They handle payments and getting us to and from places. And we'll have a private tour guide there to help us kind of like with the more logistical things. So like there's going to be an expert there to help us. It's not just me. But that leaves room for me to just focus on the spiritual stuff. So I'm doing a bunch of researching the Tuatha De Danann and all the places that we can go that has like Celtic myth and lore and legend. Like Celtic Ireland is like where a lot of the Sabbats come from. Yule, Mabon, Samhain, Beltane, like a lot of that originates from those places. And so I want to bring us there to help us like not only just learn about the land, but really like activate those places and have it help us like turn on our intuitive abilities. I really want to have us go there not just to like have a group trip and have fun and meet each other, but also to help us like really activate our intuition, wake it up, meet our guides if we haven't already, and really just get in deeper touch with our own spirituality through using, Ireland. And so if you're called at all, feel free to check out that video. There are only 16 spots available, and the first 8 spots are early bird pricing, so you're going to get a discount off of it. At the time of recording, though, I only have 4 early bird spots left. It could even be up to 3 by the end of today, because I know of somebody who might be coming. So point being, if you're drawn at all, go ahead, jump into the itinerary, learn a little bit more about it. Feel free to reach out to me, send me an email or a DM, ask me questions about it. I have a lot more information and questions answered on my Instagram stories. I have like a highlight about it. And I'm not sure when I'll get this up, but Trip is actually doing like a Giving Tuesday discount to everybody across all trips. So if you sign up before December 3rd at midnight, you can get an extra $50 off on top of that early bird discount. Now, if you're watching this way after the fact and the early bird discounts are gone, again, I can still fill up to 16 seats. So I would love, love, love to have you all join me. I know there's a lot of you that I see really often, especially on the society, and I would love to actually like meet some of you in person. And I think it's just going to be a really fun, chill, cozy trip to Ireland where we can like literally make connections, make friends, get to know each other, but also learn about the land if you've ever been drawn to go, if you have ancestry there. And at the same time, like really tune into our intuition and learn what it feels like, sounds like, using Ireland as kind of like an activation. I'm so excited. Oh, and I just found out, I did not plan this at all, there is going to be an eclipse right smack dab in the middle of our trip. And so we're definitely going to do something for that. And guess what? That eclipse literally comes through Ireland. It comes so close to Ireland that it's like 94% totality over there. So I'm like, what an awesome coincidence that I just happened to plan it for that week. Last update, I'm opening up my Wheel of the Year New Year 2026 predictions. I do this at the very end of the year. I usually only keep it open for December and a little bit in January. Some people swear by this reading. A lot of people say that this is like so accurate, and they will email me back throughout the year as they check back in with their reading, because it's like a quarterly reading, and they tell me how accurate it is and how they're still listening to it. And this year, I'm going to be adding some more astrology techniques to that reading. I'm going to be giving you your annual perfection, if you give me like your birth chart information, and I will also be giving you your like planet for the year. This is kind of like you have a chart ruler or a planet ruler. It's called like the Time Lord technique in astrology, and every year you have one planet that has more importance to you, and the annual perfection is like what house is more important to you this year. Like, what are you going to see a lot of themes pop up? So I do that combined with an intuitive reading, and I also throw a little bit of numerology in there as well. But I will be doing my 2026 predictions as well. In the past, I've only ever done that as like card readings, but I'm kind of feeling the pull to also tell you guys astrologically what's happening in 2026. 2026 is going to be a big effing year, especially for those of us in the US. So let me know if you'd want me to throw in the astrology, but basically you're going to get a lot of forecasts from me this month. You're going to get 2026 as well as, you know, January. Right after that, I'm going to make them two separate videos. Let's actually jump in to our reading. I'm using my Yule deck. I'm already like interested with our astrology dice here because we've got Uranus in Pisces in the 9th house. Uranus, expect the unexpected. It's very like, we don't know what's going to happen. And then in Pisces, this is kind of like, this could be more intuitive. It can be that like we're having like, what am I trying to say? It could be that we're having like more unexpected, like intuitive hits. We are having a lot of unexpected things happen in our spiritual practice. And with it being in the 9th house, this 9th house is like the area of learning and like higher education. It also literally is like astrology. And sometimes some people lump it in with kind of esoteric stuff. So I feel like we're going to get like a lot of unexpected things happening with our intuition, with our spirituality, that we're going to be learning from this month. So let's see our card for the month. Ooh, okay. We've got darkest hour. There in the void of thy darkness swells the shadow of the soul, swallowing the wickedness into the blackness of its wholeness. Interesting. I mean, I did a reading for somebody yesterday who was asking me about like the rest of 2025, and this doesn't surprise me because I picked up on December intuitively having a lot of kind of like despair in the collective. Darkest hour definitely mimics that. Just reading from the book, Longest Night. You know, the longest night is Yule. It's when back in the day, the longest night was like, oh goodness, is the sun ever going to come up again? It's dark, it's cold, our crops are not growing, like it's the dead of winter, and we have to remember to pull through because there will be light again. Let me just read from the book. Light and darkness go hand in hand. Just as the day turns into night, the soul must also go through periods of highs and lows. A low is called the dark night of the soul, a period where you feel lost, confused, and removed from your spirit. Everyone will experience a dark night of the soul at some point, and you will likely experience many over your lifetime. It is common for the darkest night to appear during times of extreme stress and disruption. And while this process isn't pleasant and you will undoubtedly lose something, things will be for the better when you emerge from the journey. You are being guided to find true happiness within your spirit. Do not be afraid of change and do not be scared to let go. Doing so means you can see the light even when life feels hopeless. Self-focused happiness provides a guiding light when you are lost in the darkest hour. It will point the way home and help you recover. Ugh, man, why? Lots of like hopeless energy, to be honest. And if you guys are new to me, I'm not like some of the people out there who, just give you flowery interpretations. I will tell you how it is. And so there is something about this month where we're going inwards. Maybe there's a lot of despair and hopelessness. But the positive thing here is that we're having a lot of like aha intuitive moments and we're learning from this. So I feel like the advice here is just remember, like, this does not last forever. And sometimes you need to kind of like retreat and go into that shadow work, into that, like, why is this happening? But also just remember to take care of yourself and not like overthink it so much. And have faith that it's going to get better. Let's get a little bit more information on this though. I wanted to know exactly how this is showing up. Okay. Not as bad as I was thinking. This is a little bit more materialistic, a little bit more like goal oriented, to be honest, because with the 9 of Cups in reverse, it's like the things that we want, the wishes that we want are not coming true. So it's a little bit that our manifestations are not coming true. We're getting in our head about it. And then the King of Pentacles tells me too that like money and resources, like having your basic needs and wants met, might be just not happening as easily in December. And so because of that, we're in our head. I feel like I need to say, like, don't let this become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I am reading a group, so you might be an outlier. It could be that you're already going through this, because to be like 100% honest with you, like, to me, I'm already sort of going through this personally. That last, what was it? It's just fucking Mercury retrograde. This one, for some reason, just put me on my ass. And I think it was because so much of it was in Scorpio, and I've got a Scorpio moon, and I'll talk about that in the astrology part. But I feel like I've already been here and I'm slowly receding out of that. And I do feel like that's the case for some of us, especially knowing the astrology. The astrology is kind of pulling that energy a little bit from last month into this month. We're still kind of like experiencing the leftovers of that. So it might be that you're just here right now, or have been. Wow. Okay, so the hardest part about this month is just finding literal perseverance. It's like the will to move on. There might be, I want to ask with my, like, is there something specific happening that's making us feel so much despair? It's money. It's money. It could be money, it could be love, being able to give money, being able to receive money. Yeah. Your ability to be prosperous, your ability to feel love and give love and receive love. I don't know, you guys. I feel like I'm just reading myself right now. Please let me know if this is resonating with anyone. Yeah, literally. Like fish right here with the King of Pentacles, that's literally money and prosperity. Heart, it's like your heart's desire is kind of like possibly like falling apart, or you're not getting what you want. The anima, the female in this deck represents you. I'm just going to kind of keep this out. That's going to be the key this month, is to keep going. Remember the theme of the darkest hour. It's like people back then, they knew the light would always come back. That's, the sun returning is literally where they pulled like Jesus and like, like the Son of God returning back to earth. This is like where they pulled it from. It wasn't necessarily about the literal sun, like your biological child. It was about the sun in the sky coming back to light. Like, I feel like if you're really struggling this month, it might be worth just listening to my Yule video, purely from the standpoint of like, understanding what Yule is and the themes behind Yule. And so if we really want to have like an awesome month this month, we need to lean into tranquility. We need to lean into getting quiet. In thy womb of blissful quieting and calming stillness lives the world of worlds spellbound to the silence. Like, we really need to get quiet and slow down and go inwards and find tranquil moments, which is always difficult during the holidays. But carving out time for yourself, honestly. And it's not just like, I'm going to carve out some time to go watch Netflix. It's carving out time to really sit with your emotions, do the shadow work, do the introspective work. And I am actually doing a challenge this month on the Psychic Development Society membership, where it's a spirit guide challenge. This might be a good month to jump in there and like really get to know your guides if you don't already, so that you can start to hear them in those moments of quiet. Now, for our intuition this month, we have use your own abilities. I feel like this is a message of like, you got to trust yourself. Maybe don't even like really rely on a lot of tools. Like, what do you feel in your gut? This card usually talks about like, you're not trusting the own hits and the own messages that you're getting. And it's going to be really important to do that this month. And also just like have that confidence and faith that you are psychic, and that often you are getting those messages, but you're just not trusting it. And they are accurate. I'm asking if there's anything else we need to love this month. And I pulled the love card. I feel like I need to pull one more. Love and fear. It's like we want to open up. We want to allow goodness in, but we're also afraid. I feel like I'm just going to like leave these two cards with you, and maybe these are the cards to like really focus on and like journal about throughout the month. It's like, what am I afraid of? What do you perceive to be the worst case scenario with this darkest hour card? What are you desperately trying to avoid and fight against right now? What is triggering and dysregulating your nervous system? All good questions to ask throughout the month. Love, like, where can I show myself tenderness and devotion? How can I care, connect with myself, others? How do, to be one with all. Like, I feel like some of this is part of the answer here. That we have to show ourselves love to get through this. I just pulled one more card, and yeah, I literally pulled candle magic, but also like I always really resonate with this labyrinth. I did a labyrinth ritual at Milo Farm. I feel like it's an old video of mine. We really need to understand the concept of that labyrinth and what it means. I think I've got like a paper right over here. Let me just explain what this labyrinth is, because this is exactly what we're doing this month. We are going in this labyrinth. Conceptually, the labyrinth serves as a metaphor for a journey to inner self, a threshold of shadows. The labyrinth represents crossing into veiled realms where one encounters the darker aspects of the self. Walking its winding path, the traveler must turn inward, confronting their doubts, fears, thoughts, and emotions, to introspectively integrate and contemplate those shadows. Simultaneously, the labyrinth embodies life, death, and rebirth. Beginning is akin to the journey of life, a fate all living beings undergo. Reaching its center is a metaphorical transformative death, releasing unhelpful beliefs and practices, and returning back to start mirrors rebirth, emerging from a renewed sense of self and purpose. Unlike a maze, the labyrinth has a single purposeful path to the center and back out, symbolizing a process of discovery and eventual return with newfound clarity. This destination is less about the physical center and more about the insights gathered along the way. Traveling the labyrinth is also akin to accessing liminal mystical realms, allowing one to receive messages from ancestors, guardians, and guides, and facilitate deep connections with the wisdom, insights, and guidance of the past and the unseen. Walking the labyrinth can induce altered states of consciousness through its rhythmic, meditative movement to quiet the mind and focus attention inward. This repetitive spiral path helps to bypass ordinary thought patterns, opening the traveler to deeper states of awareness and insight. You can buy one of these for yourself, and it's like literally a meditative tool, because with the grooves, like you can actually like close your eyes and just go in and out and in and out and in and out. There's also places sometimes that offer labyrinth walks. They have it carved into, like some spiritual churches will have them outside. Or you can make your own labyrinth outside on Yule this year. I've done it before. This might be a really good year to really incorporate the labyrinth and its kind of themes. I feel like that page that I read, I've got it hanging up on my wall, and I pulled it from, I got a box with like a bunch of like witchy woo-woo stuff, and it came with this and that piece of paper. But I felt like that so perfectly encompassed like the whole entire reading. Facing fears, going deep within them to realize, hey, like this is a part of myself that I need to let go of, that's not working anymore, or maybe accept some really hard truths this month. All right, so all of my decks are below, friends. You are always welcome to jump down in there and see what I use, get your own, and just remember I am always available for private readings, as well as that New Year reading. You can get a little bit more specific on maybe what's coming up in 2026. Let's get into the Astro Forecast. All right, jumping into our Astro Forecast for December. Catching us up, really, we just had Saturn move back into Pisces, so we're kind of still feeling the effects of that right at the first of the month. It hasn't been there for too terribly long. I'm curious like what you guys experienced around this day, because again, Neptune and Pisces have been, or sorry, Neptune and Saturn have been in Pisces for about the last 3 years, since about 2023, and Neptune since about 2011. So when it started stationing retrograde last month or moving fully back into Pisces, you probably experienced some really tough stuff on those days, or maybe not tough, I shouldn't say that. You should have experienced things that were really indicative of what these two planets were in Pisces. And I will just say, Saturn came to rock my shit. It did, and it was like, you need to work on this and you need to fix this or else. And it's in my 7th house of relationships, and it was really, really tough. But I honestly fully expected it. Because when I saw it going back, when I saw both of these going back into Pisces, I was like, ah, shit. Point being, me and my husband are just having a real hard time. These two planets are coming back for just a couple months to finish out that lesson that I still need to learn. We're also still in Mercury's post-shadow period, so it just finished retrograde right at the end of November. So it's moving forward again, but we're still feeling the effects of the Mercury shadow until about halfway through the month. So first thing, we've got December 4th. We've got a full moon in Gemini. And so the tough part about this full moon in Gemini is that you have to remember with like full moon cycles, whether it's a new moon or full moon, anything else that's happening on the chart, the whole chart gets kind of like baked in for the whole month. And so the challenge about this full moon is that we've actually got Mars square Saturn at this time, which is also squaring the moon. So it just adds this other element of like tough tension, because I think the way it was described that I really resonated with it was like, Mars is go. We're pressing on the gas. We're trying to go, move forward. And Saturn is like, no, 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 slow down, hold up, you got to think this through. And so it's like pressing the gas and pressing the brake at the same time. And there's that inner battle of like, oh, I need to move forward, but I can't. And like tension and wear on the system. So that's definitely going to be part of the narrative with this full moon. And where it's going to show up is dependent on where Gemini is in your chart. So Gemini for me is my 10th house. No, I don't want that to happen. That's like my career, how I'm seen and how I'm viewed, recognition, all of that stuff. But let me go through each rising sign because every single time I inevitably skip one of the moons, and I'm so sorry, you guys. Just know if that happens, you can always check the comments because I usually catch it in editing and I will put out a list, like typing up a list. Okay, so the moon is in Gemini. If you are in Aries, this is your 3rd house, Aries rising, Taurus rising, 2nd house, Gemini 1st, Cancer 12th, Leo 11, Virgo 10, Libra 9, Scorpio 8, Sagittarius 7, Capricorn 6, Aquarius 5, and Pisces 4. So that's going to kind of show you where some of this tension might be cropping up. The positive thing is that Jupiter is, I guess, sort of helping ease this tension a tiny bit. So it's not as horrible as we expect it to be. Okay, and then December 8th, this is what's kind of making it difficult, is that we get that Mars square Saturn. It goes exact, so just a couple days later. And again, this is the most difficult part of the entire month because it's that pressing the gas and also like hold up that we're experiencing. And it's not just squaring like Saturn, like Neptune is also here, so you're getting that like it's squaring that Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And what's difficult about Saturn-Neptune, that conjunction, is its idealization, it's deception, it's where you're being delusional about something in your life, especially in the Pisces sector of your chart. So again, for context, that's in my 7th house. Like, where am I being delusional about my romantic one-on-one relationships? There's something that's not true that's happening, that's playing a structural role in your life. And the cool thing about Mars, think of Mars like a knife. Like, seriously, just look at it. It's so cool because apparently the old drawings of Mars literally was like a knife. And so this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, think of it like a bubble that you're living in, where you're a little bit disillusioned. Think Glinda. I don't know if you guys watched Wicked 2, but the song, there's not going to be spoilers, but the song that she talked about the girl in the bubble and how her bubble needs to pop, like, oh my God, it's like exactly that. And Mars, think about that pointy, sharp object coming to pop that bubble. That's a lot of the energy that we're apparently dealing with this month, is like bubbles popping of like, where was I being a little too idealistic, a little too dreamy, and this is actually like falling apart or not what I expected it to be. Mars is coming in to pop that bubble and make you see. Unfortunately, with the Saturn Neptune, you probably aren't going to see what's real and what's true. You're just going to feel and understand what's not working and what's not real. So again, it's that hopelessness. It's that like dark night of the soul. I see this all playing out so integrally with the intuitive reading. So just know there might not be a lot of clarity right away with that, and that's part of what Saturn Neptune is. And then fast forward to December 10th. This is a difficult also day because Neptune right here is stationing direct in Pisces. So it's finally starting to move forward again, heading towards Aries. This will be the last time it changes course in Pisces, but just know on this day, pay attention to what's going on again, because it's going to represent, it's like an exclamation mark anytime, anytime a planet starts moving backwards or starts moving forwards again, you know, it's like, hey, this is what that planet is doing in that sign for you in your life. Also pay attention globally, nationally, with your friends, with your family, in this area of your chart. I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, I know what Saturn was here to do, because as soon as it stationed retrograde in Pisces, is like my husband and I got in a major fight that night, and it was really rough. And so it's like, okay, I know what you're here to do, or I know what you're here to do, Saturn. And so now Neptune is going to come in and add another layer to that. It's probably going to feel similar, a continuation, but Neptune is more dreams, illusions, disillusions. That's more Neptune's energy. Is like, where are we being too much in the clouds about something, too disillusioned? Whereas Saturn's like, this is the hard work that needs to happen around something, where you need to be more mature. But the tougher part about this day is at that same time, Mercury is opposite Uranus. So Mercury, has it moved by now? Yeah, so Mercury has basically moved into Sagittarius. It does that on the 11th. So it's basically already there. I should move our moon out of the way. So yeah, it's kind of like right here. Uranus would be right there, so they're opposite each other. So I'll just draw that. Oh my goodness. That's Uranus. And if you notice, there's a bunch of other planets right here. We've got Venus, we've got the Sun, we've got Mars. So that just adds another load of energy to this. So what's hard about this is, because it's Uranus, we don't really know what's going to happen. And it's Uranus opposing all these other planets that are almost conjunct each other. So it's kind of like, prepare for the unexpected. It's definitely going to be something with communication. With both Venus and Mars here, I would not be surprised if we hear something in the US about like Epstein related, possibly. But the thing is all these planets are hiding behind the sun. So symbolically, it's kind of like we might not see everything. So there's a little bit of it that's hidden as well, but there's something unexpected that happens. And remember, Mercury is still kind of in its shadow period, so there's still things left over from last month that we're sort of learning. So think about like what Mercury did in your chart last month in Scorpio and what it was here to do. You're still continuing that process, and it's not fully complete until about the 15th. Let's see. Okay. And then on December 15th, we're going back to Mars squaring Neptune. And I forget to explain. Squaring is not a good aspect. It's like a hard aspect. Those planets are like fighting each other. So it's already squared Saturn. Now it's squaring Neptune. So basically everything that I kind of said about December 8th, same thing, because they're conjunct. It's that bubble popping. It's that realization that something is not what it is. There's something that's playing a structural role in your life that's actually like decaying, not working, that needs to be like addressed. And they described like more specifically, and they being like the astrology podcast guys that I listen to, they described Mars square Neptune kind of like fighting the wrong target, like punching the air and not quite hitting exactly what you wanted it to hit. And so think of that energy symbolically around that time. Apparently it's also been related to a lot of like military snafus, like false flags, military like issues where they were supposed to shoot one target and end up shooting another target. So I'll be interested to pay attention to what's going on that day in the news. And then at this point, we're about halfway through the month. And so the Mercury is out of its shadow period. There's like a very distinct first half of the month and second half of the month. The first half energy, it feels familiar because it's a lot of like what we were going through in November, that lack of clarity with Mercury. And Saturn and Neptune doing its things in Pisces that we're being reminded of. Now the second half of the month is just lots of Capricorn energy, because basically all these planets are going to be moving into Capricorn. Capricorn is very pragmatic. It's very much like you got to get this stuff done. It's very like long-term focused. It's very grounded. It's a lot slower than Sagittarius. It wants us to like put in the work, where Sagittarius is kind of like go, go, go. I'll just mention on the 16th, the Sun squares Saturn. I'm not going to write that down. And then we get to our next lunation, which is December 19th, which will be a new moon in Sagittarius. Oh, and by now, Mars has moved into Capricorn. And with this new moon, it's squaring again, this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. It's making a square. And so that gets imprinted on the next new moon to new moon cycle. So this new moon has us rethinking a lot, rethinking like the power balances in our life. Like, where are we being too idealistic? Where are we romanticizing things? But this is going to be in Sagittarius, like in that house. So Sagittarius is my 4th house. So that's like my home, my literal home, my family. So with the new moon in Sagittarius, if you are an Aries rising, it's going to be in your 9th house, Taurus 8th, Gemini 7, Cancer 6, Leo 5, Virgo 4, Libra 3, Scorpio 2, Sagittarius 1, Capricorn 12, Aquarius 11, and Pisces 10th house. It's just, again, it's a lot more of that. Everything is like squaring Saturn and Neptune this month. So we're really getting familiar with that conjunction and what it looks like in Pisces, getting reminded of these stories that we need to kind of complete, these lessons we need to complete. And then on December 21st, the Sun moves into Capricorn. Nope. So we're in Capricorn season. This is also Yule as well. And then by December 24th, we have Venus moving into Capricorn. And just when these planets move into a different sign, we have to think about what the planet does, what they're here to do. The Sun is like you, your confidence, your vitality, and now it's being expressed in a Capricorn way instead of a Sagittarius way. Venus, it's your relationships, it's how you dress, it's how you love. Now, instead of it being expressed in a Sagittarius way, it's being expressed in a Capricorn way. It's like the clothes that those planets wear. So your relationships, your pleasure, fun, it's going to be a little bit more pragmatic now. The Sun, you're going to be probably a little bit more disciplined about like yourself. And I mean, that's literally, new year, new you. That's like literally what Capricorn season is about. And so I guess the biggest thing about this 24th date is that Venus, Mars, and the Sun, them all being in Capricorn together, I guess this is like a triple reoccurrence of this, which is like one technique of astrology is to look at reoccurrences. And so they all just happen to be here moving into Capricorn for the 3rd time in their individual cycles, but they're together. So there's definitely a story that's going to play out here in your Capricorn house. So that's my 5th house of romance, pleasure, kids. And in January, Mercury is going to join these guys up. And we're going to have a little bit more of a story there that plays out. And so essentially, there's just a lot of heavier Capricorn energy happening in this area of your chart, where it's forcing you to be pragmatic, realistic, think about the long term. But again, with Venus and Mars being behind the Sun, it's hidden too. It's hard for us to really see what's happening. And then our last thing that's happening that's kind of importance is on December 30th, Mercury squares Saturn. Now it's Mercury's time to square Saturn. And again, it's that Saturn-Neptune conjunction because they're right next to each other. It's not just really squaring Saturn. I mean, it's exactly squaring Saturn, but it's also pretty close to Neptune. So Mercury is like communication, it's tech snafus, it's difficulties, and with it being in Saturn, it's like that square. It's like communication that kind of goes awry, that like you need to wait a little bit longer for. It's challenging. So that's probably going to be like kind of quintessential of that end of December. And then we are freaking at 2026. Like, what the hell? I feel like this year went by so fast. And we're in this like weird zone of like all of these outer planets have technically been in another sign. This, you know, Uranus was in Gemini, Pisces, has Saturn and Neptune, but they were in Aries for a brief amount of time. We do have Pluto in Aquarius, which has now basically been there for a full year. But we only have a couple more months, and all three of these are going to move back in. So yeah, just realize that like these planets are back in Taurus and in Pisces for one last pass. It feels familiar, it feels old, but at the same time, like we also got a taste of what it was like in Aries and what it was like in Gemini, and so we know what's coming around the corner to some extent in these areas of our life. And so just know that that's coming around the corner, but we'll cover that. We'll cover that in the 2026 predictions and each month as we go throughout next year. But I think that's it for December. Just remember, you can book a birth chart reading with me at any time. I also do astrocartography, and something I want to offer next year is zodiacal releasing. I just haven't gotten around to it, but now that I'm pretty much done with the Psychic Development Society, almost done moving everything over, I think I'll have more time to carve out for that. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get my 2026 year ahead forecast personalized for you for this first week only at a discount. Just use the code that I'm giving you here. You can even gift this to friends. I've had a lot of people do this as like a Christmas gift for their woo-woo friends or family members. And again, remember, if you are interested at all in joining me in Ireland, feel free to check out that video next. I would love to have you come with me. Feel free to shoot me any messages if you have them. Again, at this time, I've only got 4 spots, 4 early bird spots. Then after that, we have 8 normal spots as well, full price spots. But if you sign up before December 3rd, before midnight, you should be able to get an extra $50 off that early bird spot. All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening, and I will see you in January. Oh my goodness. All right, bye.